Let's consider each of the 7 sins in turn. Pride. It can appear as if we end up boasting and grandstanding because we're so pleased with ourselves. Far from it. Boasting is only ever a response to a feeling of invisibility. We badly need to thrust forward our own importance because behind the scenes our very right to exist seems so much in question. We see it as almost inevitable that others will think ill of us unless we urgently and dramatically assert our greatness. That's why, of all people, the proud don't need to be told they're terrible. This is precisely what they secretly think they are already. They need encouragement to feel a more genuine pride in their own merits, and then to be spared the manic impulse constantly to call them to the attention of others. Envy. Envy is a graceless way of confronting an idea that is, in other contexts, fundamental to decent ambition, as well as modesty of character. The notion that we are incomplete, imperfect, and in need of improvement. Envy grows from the legitimate insight that others have something to teach us, mixed together with a degree of inaccuracy and panic about what this might actually be. Envy should, in a perfect world, be our teacher. We should note when it strikes us, sift through its confused signals, and use them to work out our direction and purpose. The solution isn't to be made to feel guilty for our envious attacks. It's to be helped to understand what's truly missing from our lives. Wrath. The mean, angry things we say when we're upset are almost never truly meant. They are the result of panic and anxiety. We call someone a stupid fool because we are, at that moment, terrified. We shout because we feel we're fighting for our lives. Therefore, instead of being repeatedly told how appalling it is to be angry, we of course know this quite well already. What we need is someone to demonstrate a proper understanding of our underlying fears. "You must be scared" is the kindest, but also the most effective response to any angry outburst. It puts its finger on what's really going on. We need others to appreciate our fragility, not berate us for our roars. Gluttony. We eat too many chicken wings and toasted sandwiches, not because we're greedy, but because we're emotionally starving. We want love far more than we want calories. We're just at a loss as to how to find them. So the solution isn't to be told to eat less, as diet gurus and Christian theologians suggest. It's to be helped to discover new sources of kindness, security, and emotional connection. Our appetite isn't essentially bad. It simply hasn't found its ideal target. Our excess weight is a symbol of our background emotional undernourishment. Lust. We want to keep jumping into bed with people not out of degeneracy, but because we are lonely. Sex is the epitome of connection and acceptance. The so-called bad, erotic things we crave feel so exciting because we read them as proofs of someone else's open-ended affection, which is in such short supply in ordinary life. Ideally, we'd not be less lustful, we'd be clearer about what we genuinely need from sex, which is acceptance of our messy, complex, and all too human selves. Sloth. Laziness is really fear. We can't bear to get down to our work because, if we were to apply ourselves, we risk terrifying humiliation. We might not succeed as well as we'd like. We might find a task too hard. We may realize we're not yet equipped to undertake it or be mocked by the world. These aren't failings so much as hugely understandable worries. Behind our inaction is anticipated disaster, a catastrophizing mind. We will begin at last when the fear of doing nothing at all trumps the crippling fear of doing something badly. Greed. The powerful urge to take more than our fair share is really a reaction to a feeling of deprivation. We felt so neglected and vulnerable, we require ever more. Our fear is so entrenched, we're trying to keep it at bay by grabbing as much as we can as quickly as possible. To others, we may look already advantaged and privileged, but inside, we just feel desperate.